Mr. Munje, that their phones are still with the police. It's been a month, and if there was any forensics or investigatory bit on those phones, it is long overdue. Those are the phones they use as a means of livelihood, their sources of income. You know that M-Pesa is the most common sourcing now. Mr. Odieki has mentioned some of them are hustlers. They need to get sources of income through those phones. Our client, Maina Njenga's phone, has also been taken. If there was anything to be traced in them,
The phones is not captured in the application.
It is not captured in the application. I'm making it ancillary to the substantive motion. Also, apart from the phones, I've also been told their IDs were also taken. Your Honor, in cases, as you did practice here before, you sat where we were sitting, where passports are taken, they are normally submitted to court. I've never had IDs being taken. These guys can't even walk here freely because they'll be arrested the next moment for being unidentified. And it would make sense if it was a passport, because travel then becomes an issue. It has not been stated that there are flight risks. And this court has already pronounced itself on bail. So there's basically no ground unless there's a cited violation as to why they should not have IDs to enable them process their basic life operations every day. I trust even you, when you got into this court, you probably had a judiciary ID. We have LSK IDs. The journalists here have the fourth estate IDs to identify. The DPP, my colleague here, and Ms. Maina, they all have IDs. The police have IDs. Permit them to have their IDs. Thank you. And if there are any other exhibits that are to be produced in this case, mostly forensics, the ballistics in reference to the first accused, and narcotics, any government chemist report, we pray that we be supplied with the same to enable us prepare our defense and to articulate our concerns as and when we are called upon. Also, in reference, before we conclude, Your Honor, we note that most of the witnesses from the introductory level are police officers. If you're going to give us a hearing date here from, I suggest that you give us compacted dates to avoid this scene of my friend, the CCI, having to deploy a lot of police officers in court. These police officers have to do other things and other businesses. And I know as the year spans out, they will probably be deployed to exams, to other security operations, and will not want to eat into rare and scarce public resources. They should be deployed elsewhere. And all the police officers, if their witnesses be bonded, to enable us proceed in one tranche. It's also very costly to bring our clients here all these times and probably face adjournments. We want to hear the case against them, and we want to conclude it earnestly. So I do request that all witnesses be bonded, we are called upon, and we do have compacted days, possibly 3 days consecutive, depending on your calendar and that of the state. I do raise my submissions. I do appreciate every party who is participating in this before we hear from the state. My learned colleagues will debate if Mr. Njenga so submits.
Let me engage with Mr.
Yes.
Are you able to make a specific, particularized application respecting what is being done rather than general?
In specific,
your application is fine. It particularizes what you want.
Yes.
Are you able to make particulars? You see, when you talk of IDs, I don't believe that the 12 IDs.
Except for Maina Njenga's ID, all the rest, the IDs are impounded. So the
IDs are in relation to all the accused persons.
Yes.
Except for
the 9th accused.
The 8th.
Yes, it is the 9th.
That is the IDs for the 11.
Yes, for 11 accused, 11 IDs.
The forms.
The forms.
Are you able to give the particulars?
The forms are all of their forms, and in specific for the 9th accused, he has 2 forms which were impounded.
Are you able to
I will have to. Yes, it's okay. I'm instructed by deference to my learned senior colleague that I can particularize them on maybe the phone and the numbers,
Yes.
But we would make use of time and resources by simply sitting with Mr. Misoi and not the phones he took. You know, the problem we have with this matter is that even an inventory was not taken when.
My worry is,
Yes.
I know you understand.
Yes.
Suppose they say they don't have any of the funds.
We will accuse them of the same. We will not hesitate to make an application.
When they are particularly raised,
Yes.
it is a good practice to have the particulars of what you need.
Yes. Yes.
But in the meantime, just particularize that all the response on that is the last.
Yeah, let me do a list
Let
to note the phones which were taken from here.
yes, let
And
the
then-
prosecutor respond to the other aspect, say for that.
Yes, but I also think that in the same diplomatic approach you've taken,
Yes.
just sitting with Mr. Misoi and the CCI, we will resolve a lot of. They have been very professional. That's one thing I will really say about them. One thing we respect our colleagues on this side. They have been very professional.
Okay.
So in the same breath, we can sit down
Yes.
and as professionally as he has been, we can agree. If there are any further issues with them, they can tell
My
us.
perception, Mr. Big, is
Yes.
that since you brought it to me, you
Yes.
were unable to solve it.
We were unable
That's
to
why
resolve.
you're
Yes.
bringing it. But either way, it's a very simple exercise, just particular. Then
Thank you so
get the
much.
appropriate response. Mr. Yes, Mr. Mungiki? Mr. Muru?
No, I'm not making any.
Okay, very well. Mr. Mungiki.
I think before I respond to the applications,
Yes.
which have been made as the defense,
Yes.
I have an application tonight because it will have a bearing on the applications.
Yes.
The DPP is applying for the charge sheet to be amended.
Your Honor, it remains as listed. So, why can, sorry, my leg is bad. Why can the learned DPP respond to our application? Then he can review, because these are totally different applications, and it will convolute what we have engaged for almost 40 minutes, so that we have a semblance of order. Yes. I'm not guiding him, but it is his choice on what he wants to do. But I thought it is better to respond to our issues. Then you can say, in addition, I have an application to make to amend whatever he wants to do. Because it is the right.
Suppose he is seeking to have the studies drop, then it will just
No, if he drops them, then we will always regret it. Because
then this will not affect.
Yes. 2 years, the application I have. Before they can comment. We have an application for amendment of the charge sheet. There were counts which we have added to include the name of Maina Njenga, which were omitted in the first count. So I pay for the court slip. We file an amended charge sheet. Then thereafter I can take up to respond to the
Yes,
issues
and
which have been
Mr. Omenda, with a lot of respect, I can agree with Mr. Mungiki. Let us be the last. Please respond to the application so that you make your application later.
much like that, Your Honor.
Yes.
I will start with the first issue. This matter is coming today for mention for the trial directions. The defense has made an application to be issued with a number of documents. We have the documents and we undertake to supply the same within the course of today. And on that premise, we are looking for a hearing date. There is an application which was made by my senior, Ex-Mungiki, to summon the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Your Honor, no evidence has been placed before you to support that application. In the circumstances, I urge this court to decline that application and direct that the defense moves the court properly. If they have any evidence, they bring it to the attention of the court. That applies also to the application to issue guiding orders. Your Honor, the similar argument applies to the application which was made by Ex-Mungiki for this court to issue a guard order against His Excellency, the Deputy President. No evidence has been placed before you to prove that the Deputy President is commenting on this case or is trying to interfere with the administration of justice in this matter. I move to the application by my friend Pico regarding release of the motor vehicle. Also, he made an application on release of funds and also on ID cards. Your Honor, with respect to all these applications, the investigating officer informs me that he has not been served with that application. And he needs to be served with the same so that he can have time to respond to the same. The issue of funds of the IDs, no evidence has been placed before you, and I believe it's proper that the defense moves the court appropriately so that the IO can have an opportunity to respond to the application. Also, with respect to the application for release of motor vehicles, I've perused through the application and the documents which are purporting to support the application, Your Honor. And it's my submission that most of the motor vehicles belong to third parties who have not been moved or who have not been notified of the instant application. And my view is that it's proper for the owners of the motor vehicles to make the applications, or at least, Your Honor, they file supporting affidavits and annex the documents of ownership. So those are Your Honor, I invite the court to look at the application and look at the supporting affidavits. Mr. Pico clearly indicated that the motor vehicles belongs to third parties. I invite the court to look at the application. So my view is that it's proper that the third parties file affidavits or applications so that motor vehicles are not released to different persons, and we have issues later. Your Honor, that's my response with respect to the applications by the defense. And if you allow me, I make the application for amendment of judgment.
Your Lordship,
Yes.
could you allow us to respond? Then he can make his application.
Whether you require this.
Your Honor, as I indicated earlier, the investigating officer has not been served. So we need a communication from him whether the vehicles form part of evidence which will be presented before this court. And that was the basis why I agreed that the IO be given more time to respond.
Your Honor, perhaps with a very kind permission, there is an issue that we would like to raise, that is in respect to the trajectory the ODPP is taking. He seeks time to respond to the application by indicating that the IO has not been served. But then he goes ahead and responds to that application. So we are lost at what does the ODPP want, because essentially he has responded to that application. So then that time he's seeking, the chance to have that time granted by the court is lost. So then we'll be taking directions on whether the application has been responded, because I think that it has been responded, because he has indicated he has responded to that application.
Let me bolster Mr. Nduru's response. Your Honor, my learned colleague here has responded articulately and said that affidavits belonging to third parties are not being given. And you did pose a challenge to him, whether he actually read that application. One of the vehicles belongs to the 12th accused. It's a rejoinder. It's a rejoinder.
Were you done respecting the application?
Your Honor, with respect to the applications, I'm done.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just say for the one he was trying to make for the amendment to the charge sheet. I will need to be fair to him. Now, the 12th accused is a party. He doesn't even need to make an affidavit. As long as he says my vehicle was impounded. They have not shown anything to show this court why he should not be given back his vehicle. And in this charge sheet, in all its charges, there's no nexus between his vehicle and the charges. And you did ask correctly, what role do these vehicles have in these charges? He didn't answer. That's an admission that they have no role whatsoever to do with those vehicles. That these vehicles belong to third parties. One of the affidavits I've given you in extension is by Maina Njenga. That's a third party before court. I got instructions from him and I've submitted before this court an affidavit. They have not rebutted that position. I've given you another company called Base Limited and its directors. I've given the logbooks. It wasn't my role to supply the logbooks. It was their role to investigate when they came to court and sought time to detain. They detained our clients. Before Honorable Builder, they were given 3 days after seeking 7 days. What were they doing with those 3 days if it was not to investigate and probe? And most vital, one of the things Misoi stated to the court while he was standing there was that they want to investigate those vehicles. Your Honor, from 12th to 19th, they had time. From 19th to date, it's another 1 month. They have had time. Instead of explaining to you what they have done, they are telling you we've not seen them, yet they are responding. And I was clear from the outset that the only way you can respond is from the back, because he had not submitted anything before this court. Being uncontroverted, the entire motion is interlinked. He knows the rules. He should play within those rules. Now, regarding the third parties, any other third party, I've shown where and how they are related to those vehicles. What he should have simply done was to respond, saying that Misoi was not served. He's immaterial in this case. Misoi works under him. If he has the application, he cannot be accusing Misoi of not being served when he has seen the application. He has had it from last week. The police officers here and under him, all of them, he cannot run away and delegate responsibilities when it's convenient and assume that responsibility when it is also convenient. He wants to amend a charge sheet, supposedly to keyword the mistakes in the charge. Because they've been on a fishing expedition while trampling on these people's rights. We are not going to allow them to do that. We should tell them outrightly that there are rules to play within, and they must be subdued within those rules. Mr. Mwenga had a chance to respond. I even called him. I was courteous enough. I met Mr. Miswai. I called him. They were telling me to go to Mirangini police station, some Kyogoine police station over there, when those vehicles are parked here at the DCI and at Kasarani police station. I've even given them the original logbooks. What more reason do they have? Now, he wants to go for those third parties. Does he know where they are? Does he have instructions from them? Are they his clients? Your Honor, this is what we call a game of musical chairs, with Mwenga presiding as the perfect musician. Don't allow me an inch on this. Lastly, I prayed for the phones. The numbers are here. They are not even disputing that they didn't have the phones. They are only saying that he was not aware. He needs time. Which time does he need? He has had all the acres of time and the space to do that. If he's given time and he reopens these issues as to be abandoned, how will I respond? We are officers of the court. We are advocates, Mr. Mwenga. We must play utmost fidelity to the law. We are not going to run in a crowd like bulls fighting for space. We are officials and officers of this court. We must maintain fidelity to this process. And if you are called, I took my time to call you, and I took my time to inform you as much. You should have been as courteous to me when I was making fair efforts.
Mr. Mika.
They're a bit irritating. And let's raise the application. It is unchallenged. If the application is unchallenged, then I do request that you order Misoi to release the vehicles to me for.
Your Honor, I have to defend Mr. Mwenga because Mwenga is just a messenger. This thing is bigger than him. And for sure we know he cannot be making the decisions. The decisions are made high up. That's why we want people with the highest responsibility, like Rigata Kachawa, to come here and tell us. We are not going to wait in the bush. So, Your Honor,
Yes.
that's to support what the Honorable colleague has said.
Yes.
If the vehicles and the mobile phones are not experts in this case, then they have no business holding them. And it is as simple as that. If they are experts, we are not interested in them because we wait until they are produced. If they are not, let them release them now. But if they are not and they keep them, you will take a notice. Because you are the trial court and you know what to do. They cannot turn around later to claim that they are experts. So they can't have their cake and eat it. Your Honor, on the issue of careless pronouncements from the deputy president, it's a matter of public notoriety. It's a matter of public notoriety, and we have that tape. If you want, we can produce it. I have watched the tape, and he says that the ninth accused has 9 palatial homes in Kenya. Our question is it a crime to have a home? Is that a crime? Let them tell us which law has criminalized holding homes. Somebody can now so if we challenge that, it is a matter of public notoriety, and we have the court take judicial notice of that tape. It is widely circulated. Secondly, I have the details of the phones. Instead of reading all of them, I will give the court assistant to give them to you, so that if they are not experts, you can just release them. It will save the court's time. Secondly, Your Honor, in this business, I've looked at the charge sheet. The offense is being members of an organized criminal group. That is the main offense. And Your Honor, we have not been surprised with the list of names who are the Mungiki members. You know, when you say it's an illegal organization, you must give us the list of the illegality. So they have not supplied us with any list of the alleged members. There is nothing. So we are fighting against air. We don't know what we are fighting against. There are other groups called Powerhouse, Baghdad Boys, Kisungu, depending on where you live in Kenya. And these groups are there. We don't know them, we've never seen them, but now they are being alleged, oh, you are a member of an illegal group. So what we want, Your Honor, is contains a class with the more particulars, the list of members of Mungiki, so that we are able to know whether our clients, members of that group, illegal group, they have to let them give us a list. They have not given us anything. So, Your Honor, we play that the DPP is a serious offense. By the time they bring you to court, there must be a prima facie case against you with the chances of success. But they cannot just rush to court to please somebody high up with the political radar. Your Honor, these politicians come and go. Their term is 5 years. After 5 years, we make another contract. And most likely the contract could be with another person. So, let people not develop an arrogant attitude as if they are kings. Kenya is not a kingdom. Kenya is a representative democracy. And every 5 years, we choose our leaders. And these people, they are now calling Mungiki or illegal organization, will choose the next leaders because they are the majority. And they will teach them the political lessons. Here we speak without any fear of contradiction because Kenya is a democracy. That is why the government in the power, nobody thought it would win. But it won. And we respect it. Because that is a democracy. Yes, this is, I'm trying to say, I agree with you. So, Your Honor, what I'm saying is this. Our application is unchallenged. Issue summons to Gachawa. Let him come here as a subject of the law. Let him come and tell us what problem he has with other Kenyans when they associate, when they speak freely, when they do their business. When is Gachawa going to cook for us in our houses? Is he going to make our bedrooms for us? It is not possible. Because he's trying to supervise everybody. He cannot. So we rest our case.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very well. I have the applications, the responses there. So, yes, you will give me an hour and I'll come back with the substantive rulings on the applications and directions where they are sought. I'll come back at 11.
If I run a little before,
yes.
There was an application that was presented.
Fresh application, come and deal with it when you come back. I don't want to encourage you. Very well. Allow me until 11:30. We get back to the rulings and directions.
Most of it.
Thank you.